Great battle for the lead in Richmond. Carl Edwards has been trying to get underneath Kyle Busch to take it away. The top two drivers in points are the top two on the racetrack, and Carl has yet to lead a lap tonight. That will change as they come off turn 4 here on lap 158.
Well, he was just working him on the bottom of the track. Carl Edwards working Kyle Busch so hard. And we were just talking in commercial break how that is so frustrating for the guy in the bottom when the guy on the top just keeps keeping him down. But right now,
that's why they call it a race.
That's true. It is what I call a race. You got that one right. Hey, you know, one thing you got to remember, this tire is the same tire they had in Phoenix, Arizona, and we all saw how fast Carl Edwards was there. He was just flying until he blew that engine up.
There was a 62-point differential when they came in between Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards. It is now 52 points that since Carl has gone by to take the lead. Shannon.
Well, Doc, a lot of the cars on the track here tonight have been complaining about tight conditions. Carl Edwards, however, has been saying his car's been loose. The car is really starting to come alive on this run. He's been turning faster laps than Kyle Busch pretty much since the start of this run. So this team is very happy where this car is right now. They did use a lot of their Phoenix notes, as you see Dan Stillman up there on the right-hand side, for this race. They sat on the pole in that race. They did have some engine problems, but they're looking good with this 16. Dave?
Shannon, you know, Kyle Busch's crew couldn't use their Phoenix note because they had such a horrible night, so they leaned on their teammate. Right now, Kyle Busch is saying that he has trouble in the center of the corner, that tight condition you talked about, and because of that, he's having to arc his car into the center of the corner. He believes that is what's slowing down his overall speed right now and why the 60 got by.
Hey, what? That's a good point, though. I mean, the driver's got to do whatever he can to make his car handle at that particular point. If he's been running on the bottom of the track all day long and it's not working, hey, man, you got to move that baby into the top. And this is a track that you can do it at. These drivers love that track for that reason.
Carl Edwards now working heavy lap traffic. That's the 0-5. Good to have Casey Atwood back, by the way. He had the concussion after Phoenix. Got cleared on Tuesday of this week. Now back in the 0-5 car. Good to have him back here in the field as Edwards goes by him and moves in on the 11 car. That is Scott Legacy being shown as the last car on the lead lap in 21st position.
Yeah, not for long. It looks like Carl's going to be able to get by Scott. Legacy got that free pass earlier, but going down another lap here.
And remember, this is a backup car for Legacy. He really crashed hard in practice. Hit some oil from another car in practice. Head on in the wall. Just tore it up pretty big time.
Couple of Richard Childress Cup Series teammates, Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick, battling in separate cars here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Childress owns a 29. Harvick owns his own car. As you look back and see these guys that are battling for 8th position.
Jerry, remember at the beginning of the year you guys were talking about who gets to keep their name on the roof of this car, whoever runs the best. How's this stacking up right now?
Well, right now it's Clint Boyer has the best finish. It's among Boyer, Stephen Light, and the 29 car right now being driven by Jeff Burton. The guy with the best average finish between the start of the year and when they go to Daytona gets his name on the car for the remainder of the year. And right now the edge goes to Boyer with a couple of third-place finishes.
You got to know that's on their mind, though, isn't it?
Got to believe it. I believe that right now Jeff Burton wants to change that with a W here in the home state. He's a Virginia boy. Wants to win here in Richmond tonight.
Hey, that car has been so steady. I mean, every single time you watch Jeff Burton at this Richmond racetrack, ends up with no dents on the fenders, keeps the car clean.
You see these brake rotors are just blowing almost white hot on the 29. This kind of racing really does make you use the brakes a lot more. Now he can get out here and let them breathe a little bit now that he's gotten clear of Harvick.
You know, our Tim Brewer earlier, and he was telling us about brake balance front to rear. You know, when you see these brakes this red, you would think that you could, you know, turn some of that balance to the back. Actually work the rear brakes harder a little bit so it won't work the front so hard.
Yeah, but be careful. You know, it can happen if you get too much on the rear.
You spin her out and back it in that turn 1, right?
Yes, we saw a car do that before.
We see a lot of cars. You folks here, if a wheel hop, that's when the rear tires will lock up, and that happens a lot.
A little damage on Bernie Lamar's car on the right rear. See that spoiler and that whole right rear corner is torn off there. He may have just gotten loose and gotten against the wall.
Tell you what, when you bend a spoiler down, I mean, that's something.
Oh, he's been in the wall the whole right side a little bit here.
If we can see where he hit just a moment ago, coming up off the...
I bet it's turn 2. That's the toughest corner on this track. Mark Davis got some damage here, too, the front of his car.
I'll tell you what, Mark doesn't want to stay out there too long because that can blow that left front out, and that'll completely destroy that car then, and he doesn't need any more damage.
Mark Davis, the 18-year-old, and here they were. Here's the sandwich a moment ago.
Look at the right front fender on Stevens' car. It's completely missing, and that has got to be killing the aerodynamics.
Didn't help the left front fender on Mark Davis's car either just a moment ago, as they got a little damage on that one. Here's the guy they're chasing now, Cousin Carl, who led the most laps last spring but didn't win it, trying to hold on for the final laps here and get a win. His first win of the season tonight at Richmond.
Couple of good ball games coming up on ESPN. Major League Baseball action. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. 8 Eastern, Jermaine Dye and the Chicago White Sox against Ian Kinsler and the Texas Rangers. And then Monday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern, the Red Sox and Yankees from the new Yankee Stadium for the first time. It's Major League Baseball on ESPN and ESPN 360 Sunday and Monday night. Long green flag run here with 72 laps to go from the pit studio. Bestwick and Brad, along with 2002 Nationwide Series champ Greg Biffle, watching his Roush Fenway Racing teammate Carl Edwards out in front now. Green flag pit stop for Brendan Gaughan. Just a minute ago, takes him off of out of the hunt, off the lead. I believe he was on the lead lap when he came down pit road there, or had just fallen off it.
Just falling off, yep.
And so that's tough luck for him. We'll follow up there in just a minute. Greg, while you're watching this race, I've got to ask the analyst question for you. Wants to know, seeing anything for tomorrow night's race that strikes you?
Well, certainly I think that, you know, what we learned by Mike Bliss, the one car, stayed out on about 28 lap tires and was able to stay in the top 5. So, you know, that helps me out. Do I do 2 tires, you know, 4 tires? Stay out for track position depending on where we're running at on the racetrack.
To get your questions answered by our analysts with our Verizon Wireless mailbag, text your question to 8610 from your Verizon Wireless phone. Standard texting rates apply, or go online to ESPN.com to submit your question. Other thing that I was going to ask you about, Greg, when this race starts, all the practice qualifying done in the day, the sun is set, the temperature's cooled now. Is this track, as we look ahead to the last pit stop, where it's at, and what does that tell the driver?
Yeah, the track is done changing now. The only thing that we see right at the end of the race for this last pit stop is the track starts to go the other way. It starts to free up a little bit. Carl Edwards talked to his car might be a little bit loose. Does he tighten up just a little bit for that very last run?